All right. You ever feel like we're living in the future? Because prepping for this deep dive, I swore I had a Jetsons moment, we're diving into the world of AI chips.
Mm-hmm.
Specifically, how Groq plans to steal the throne from, like, industry titan NVIDIA.
Yeah.
And we've got interviews with Groq's CEO Jonathan Ross, demos of their tech.
Right.
And let me tell you, this is not your average kind of tech rivalry.
Oh,
This is like a potential seismic shift in who controls the future of AI.
absolutely. It's a really exciting time to be following this.
Okay,
It's
so
not just about chips.
yeah, break it down for me.
It's about a whole new era of AI. We're talking about the generative age.
Okay, because I gotta be honest, the whole like generative AI thing, it still sounds a bit like science fiction sometimes.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, think of it this way. Google search that was like the star of the information age, right?
Right.
You had a question, it helped you find the answer.
Right.
Generative AI is like having a whole team of experts on speed dial ready to create completely new things based on what you need.
Okay.
Text, images, music code, you name it.
So it's not just about finding the information anymore, it's about creating something totally new with it.
Exactly.
Whoa.
And that takes some serious hardware,
Yeah.
which is where NVIDIA comes in. They've been dominating the AI training game with their GPUs, basically the workhorses that teach AI models how to do all this amazing stuff.
Right, right. So NVIDIA provides like the racetrack and the high performance cars for training those AI drivers.
Yeah, you can think of it that way.
But then what? So once those AIs are trained and they're ready to show off their skills.
That's where inference enters the picture.
Oh,
It's the process of actually using those trained AI models to get like real-time results.
okay.
And it turns out it's a whole different ballgame than training.
Okay, so inference is like actually putting those AI drivers behind the wheel in a real race.
Yeah, a great analogy.
And that's where Grok says, hold my low latency beverage.
Something like that. See, Groq designed their chips, these things called LPUs, specifically for inference. They're all about speed. Crazy, almost instantaneous speed.
Wow.
And the ability to handle massive amounts of data without breaking a sweat.
So they're like the pit crew making sure those AI race cars can react at lightning speed.
Yes, exactly.
And speaking of speed, we have to talk about that travel itinerary demo from Jonathan Ross, Groq CEO.
Yes. That demo perfectly highlights what this low latency can achieve.
Have you seen this? I mean, this is like,
Oh yeah, it's incredible.
it blew me away.
Yeah.
Now, I gotta admit, when I first saw that demo, I was blown away. It wasn't just about booking like flights or hotels or whatever. It was like having a conversation with a super-powered travel agent, like, one who knew everything and could answer any question instantly.
Yeah, and that speed, the immediacy, it changes the entire AI game. Imagine instead of waiting for a chatbot to sputter out a response,
Right.
you're having a truly natural back and forth interaction.
Right.
That's the promise of Groq's technology.
Okay, I'm starting to see why this is a bigger deal than just some like tech rivalry.
Right.
But let's talk about that rivalry for a second, because NVIDIA, they're not exactly slouches.
Oh no, they're a huge company.
Yeah, they've got a massive head start, tons of resources. Can Groq really compete with that?
That's the billion-dollar question, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's a classic David versus Goliath situation.
Hmm.
But remember, David had a few tricks up his sleeve.
Right.
Groq's approach is fundamentally different from NVIDIA's, and that might just be their secret weapon.
All right, break it down for me. What's Groq's secret sauce?
First off, it's this laser focus on inference.
Okay.
While NVIDIA built its empire on training AI models, Groq saw the potential of inference early on and designed their chips specifically for that purpose.
Okay.
It's like the difference between a powerful engine and a perfectly tuned transmission.
Okay.
Both are important, but for different reasons.
Okay, so they saw a different part of the racetrack and said, we're going to build the ultimate machine for this specific course.
Exactly, and they didn't stop there.
Yeah.
Groq also understood the importance of making their technology developer-friendly. They actually prioritized building their software, the compiler, before finalizing their chip design.
Hold on, so they built the tools first that programmers would use to interact with the chip before the chip itself. That seems a little counterintuitive.
It might seem strange, but it's brilliant.
Yeah.
Think of it this way. NVIDIA's chips are powerful,
Yeah.
but programming for them can feel like learning a whole new language.
Right.
Groq wanted to make sure that anyone, even a novice developer, could pick up their tools and start building amazing AI applications.
So they lowered the barrier to entry, making AI more accessible.
Exactly.
I like it. But what about the whole hardware side of things? You mentioned NVIDIA practically owns the market for high bandwidth memory, that HBM stuff. How can Groq compete with that kind of resource control?
That's where it gets really interesting. You see, Groq decided not to play the HBM game. They designed their chips to utilize readily available memory components,
Right, okay.
completely bypassing that bottleneck.
Wait, so while NVIDIA is over there fighting tooth and nail for a limited supply of this, like, specialized memory, Groq just sidestepped the whole issue.
Precisely. It's a classic case of sometimes the best innovation comes from working smarter, not harder. By choosing not to rely on HBM, Groq actually gained a strategic advantage.
Wow.
They're not limited by the same supply chain constraints as NVIDIA.
So they're agile, adaptable, sounds like a startup mentality, even though they're taking on a giant. But even with all that, their ambition is kind of mind-blowing. Remember, their goal is to provide half of the world's AI inference capacity by the end of next year. Is that even realistic?
It's a bold goal, no doubt. But it's not just about the chips themselves. They're building an entire ecosystem.
Okay, I'm intrigued. What does that ecosystem look like?
Okay,
I'm intrigued. What does that ecosystem look like?
think of it as a playground for AI developers. Groq is actively partnering with the people, creating those cutting-edge AI models, making sure their platform is optimized for speed and efficiency. They're not just building a better chip, they're building a better experience for the entire AI community.
So they're attracting the talent, the innovators, the people who are really going to push the boundaries of what's possible with AI.
Exactly. And here's where things get really interesting. Remember we talked about open source AI models like Meta's Llama 2?
Yeah, those models everyone's excited about because they're free and incredibly powerful.
Right now, imagine those models running on Groq's super fast scalable platform. Suddenly you have a recipe for like explosive growth. The faster and cheaper it is to use these models, the more developers will jump in, creating even better models, leading to a kind of snowball effect of innovation.
Wow. Okay, I'm getting a glimpse of the vision here, but let's bring it back down to earth for a second. We've covered a lot of ground in, the tech, the strategy, the ambition, but for someone who's not knee-deep in the world of AI chips, why should they care about all this? What's the big takeaway?
That's the most important question, isn't it? And the answer is both exciting and potentially world-changing. If Groq succeeds, it won't just be a win for them. It could democratize access to AI in ways we've never seen before.
So instead of just a few giant companies controlling the keys to the AI kingdom, so to speak.
Imagine a world where any startup, any small business, any individual with a great idea can leverage the power of AI.
Yeah.
That's the promise of Groq's approach. It's about leveling the playing field, making AI accessible to everyone, not just the tech giants.
And that kind of accessibility, it could change everything. We're talking faster, more responsive AI assistance, more personalized experiences, innovations we haven't even dreamed of yet.
Precisely, think about the possibilities doctors using AI to diagnose diseases, with incredible accuracy educators creating personalized learning experiences for every student, artists collaborating with AI to produce like groundbreaking works of art.
Yeah, it's like we're on the verge of a new renaissance, one fueled by the power of AI and Groq. This audacious startup might just be the company that makes it all happen. It's a David versus Goliath story for the ages, and honestly, I can't wait to see how it unfolds.
Indeed, one thing's for sure, it's a story worth watching.
And analyzing, dissecting, and diving deep into. So until next time, keep those AI engines revving because the future is closer than we think.